Hey guys, Huzzy here bringing you another video. Now welcome back to the PBE where we're doing another first impressions. And it only feels like a week ago I did the Kane first impression, and I was expecting Urgot to get released or announced at least before Kane. I still think that was probably going to happen, but the leak of Kane I think forced that to happen. That Urgot was announced second. So this is the brand new Urgot. You can see that he is now a walking battle crab. You know, it's very reminiscent of what it used to be, but obviously given the 2017 update. And you know, if Urgot was released today, this is what he'd look like, and that's the idea. But he looks pretty cool. His dance. Let's just do a little bit of a dancey dance. So he has a top hat randomly, and he's doing hello, milady, hello, whatever. So there's that. Taunt. He's got weird spinny things inside of his belly. Something's broken inside. Oh, he found something. Fair enough. Throwing it away. And then his laugh. So there you go. Thought I'd just show that before the actual lane phase begins. Just in a training game, because my first impression videos, this is legit the first time I've played Urgot. I've looked at, you know, his spells a little bit, what they do, but I like to know what a champion does when I'm actually like playing it for the first time, and I kind of learn it with you guys alongside. So the Q, firstly let's just go on the passive. Echoing Flame. So when Urgot hits an enemy in the direction of one of his legs with a basic attack, that leg will blast flames outward, dealing 29 plus 4.5% of the target's max health. So let's just try that out. So boom. It's a shotgun. He's got shotgun legs, and then you can see the little like line here. You can see there's no line now on this leg, so if you went to do for an auto attack again, it wouldn't actually explode. But if we move over to this side where there are lines, it will do it, and then it disappears there. Here we have to go here, it'll do it again. You can see the lines of the outer rim are disappearing because we've used up that shotgun shell until it comes back. So if we move over to this side, we can do it there, above us basically, there, and then the bottom left there. Oh wait, and now bottom right is also back. Okay, so that's the passive. That's interesting. That means Urgot can really push a wave pretty quick if he wanted to. His auto attack range isn't massive, so that's his passive. The leg goes on cooldown for 27.75 seconds. Q, let's go over it. Corrosive charge. Urgot fires an explosive charge at a target location, dealing X amount of damage and slowing enemies. Okay, so let's just go for it. Boom. So there we go. Is you shoot it, and there's a slight delay, and then it explodes. That's kind of cool. I like it. It's actually the projectile. I want to do that again because the projectile seemed very quick onto me. Enemy champions hit by the blast are also locked onto. So if we go that, boom, that's really quick. That's a very quick projectile. Like the actual bullet speed, it's really quick, so that's going to be hard to dodge. All right, Purge. We'll put that on as well. For the next 4 seconds, Urgot shields himself for 60, plus whatever it may be, and rapidly shoots the nearest champion, or enemy, prioritizing champions that are locked onto, triggering Echoing Flames whenever possible, which is his shotgun. Urgot is slowed by 25% movement speed, but also has 40% slow resist. While Purge is active, Urgot can walk over minions and non-epic monsters, but cannot basic attacks normally. Okay, so let's try this out. So we're going to activate it now. So there we go. So the passive goes off automatically, and the auto attacks are done also automatically. That's interesting. Okay. That's very interesting. So we use the Q. Slow him away. Okay, now what is E? Urgot charges in the direction. If he collides with an enemy champion, he will stop, stunning them for 1.25 and throwing them the other side of him, dealing 60 plus physical damage. Enemy champions hit are locked onto. Okay. This is the combo. E, W. Now he's locked onto, so now my W is only going to land on him. And then, yeah, okay, we're going to let him live. But yeah, the W goes on to targets that are locked onto, remember? Prioritizing champions that are locked onto. The way you can lock onto somebody, enemy champions hit by the blast are locked onto. So if you Q them and then W, they'll prioritize. Or if you E them, then W, they'll prioritize. So basically, you never want to use W first. You want to lock onto the enemy before this happens. Now, as for maxing, again, it's going to kind of be up in the air and depending on a lot of things. W could be what you max because you get shields, you get damage, like percentage damage, and all that cooldown goes down. It could be Q if you want to go for poke. I don't think it's going to be E in any sense. I think it's between Q and W. It could even be a champion, like they do exist, that you kind of max them at the same time, or you go 3 points into one and then continue the other one. You know, that could easily be a thing. So E, and then I missed it. Okay. But if I W now, there's no enemies around, so it's naturally going to hit him. Alright, cool. Yeah, I kind of like it. I kind of am liking this. We'll go for his ultimate as well, too, because the ultimate actually seems one of the most interesting parts about him, to be honest. That is really satisfying. You're like a walking... Well, you are a walking battle tank, basically. Alright, let's just get some teleport to Kurth. Let's go back. Items. So the items that they are recommending you to buy are kind of just standard old Urgot items, really. Like Black Cleaver, Frozen for your range, like damage. Death Stance if you want to go DPS. Or again, if you want to go DPS. But all of them, if you'll note, are kind of more tanky. So more austeric, so you get one of those. Or Death Stance is I know it sounds weird saying it's a tankier item, but it's all about dealing damage to get health back. So it's making you stay alive longer than other damage items would. And then obviously it's just kind of recommending some basic damagey tanky or just tanky items. So yeah, all right, that makes sense, I guess. Triforce could be a thing on Urgot, just to kind of say, but I think a lot of this champion is going to be about surviving while trying to maintain how much damage you're doing. I think that's going to be a lot of him because you have relatively low range. Like, you have to be kind of in the team fights. All right, so your ultimate. Urgot fires a chem drill beacon that impales the first enemy champion hit, locking onto them, dealing 50 damage plus physical and slowing them up to 75% movement speed for 3 seconds. If the target falls below 25% health while impaled, Urgot may recast the ability. What? Lashing out with chains that suppress the target and drag them in for execution. This will happen automatically if the target is below the health threshold. Whoa! Okay, let's get this Renekton... Oh, say, well, firstly, let's just ult him. So that's what it looks like. And now he's locked onto, by the way. So while this is happening, he's locked onto. So there's that. Let's just get him... Oh, damn, that's really easy to miss, that spell. Okay. So that's just what the ult looks like. And what we're going to do is auto-refresh cooldowns. I need him to be, like, lower health. Hey! Alright. I need him a little bit lower. Now ult. Okay, we're ulting. Recast it. Chains bring him to me. And that's the grinders that are inside him. Oh, okay. But what... Hang on. What I'm kind of wondering is that 100% a 25% health execution? Because it doesn't say how much damage it does. Hang on, let me just kind of get over here. I need to read that again. If the target falls below 25% health while impaled, Urgot may recast the ability, lashing out chains, and we saw that, suppressing them and bringing them towards him for execution. Urgot cannot take another action while executing a target, and his death will end the event. It's 100% a kill. Whoa! Obviously, by the way, this can get cancelled. If somebody silences Urgot, if he gets knocked up, if someone buys, I believe, a QSS, I reckon it will stop it. But if you go on a target that normally doesn't buy tanky abilities, let's say let's say a Galio, a full tank Galio is very hard to kill in late game. But if you manage to poke him down, Urgot can just get rid of him when he's at 25% health. And a 25% health Galio is still very annoying to deal with. I'm... Okay. We're going to just test that again. Because that does seem a little bit interesting. So we're just going to get him to 25... Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, lock on. So that actually hit. Hook him. That was huge range and kill. And it fears everything too. Huh. Okay. Right. Sorry. What I'm thinking, again, this is a completely first impressions. Urgot's going to be a very strong 1v1 champion, I think. because how are you going to deal with that? He's got ranged abilities, he's got tankiness, and he's going to be buying pen items like Black Cleaver. So he's going to be relatively hard to actually, like, beat in that sense. So, and if you don't have anything to stop his ultimate, and he does poke you down with his abilities that do kind of poke you down, then he's just going to wreck in a 1v1. If Urgot successfully executes an enemy, he fears all enemy champions. Or all nearby enemies for 1.5 seconds. That's everything. What? I will be honest, sometimes I kind of do think what we're Riot thinking. So again, cooldown, ult. Okay, so there is a bigger range to it. Hang on. Bam. Got him. Press R again. Hook in. That's insane. Okay. The range also is pretty big. Obviously, it's a relatively, just to kind of say, it's a relatively, if I show you, it's a relatively slow. Oh no, that's actually not that slow. That's actually quite quick. Okay. Maybe the ult needs to be slower, I don't know. Again, just to mention, this is a first impressions. This isn't a guide. This isn't really a review. First impressions. Everything that I'm talking about could change and probably will change at some point in terms of balance especially. And also, we're playing in a bot game. We're not playing against real players. So obviously, there's going to be the human element that you have to add to this champion as well. Oh. So yeah. To me, though, he does it. What happens if you ult somebody like that? Well, you can't press R. Okay, so you can't chain again. So you can't... Well, that looked weird. You can't press R, obviously. So they have to be... It's an executing spell, but it's not just an executing spell. So let's say you're playing Urgot, but you've got a very fed AD carry. You want to kill somebody. You just slow them for 75%. All that time, he's being slowed for 75% speed. That enables your team. That's a great engage. If it's not an execution, it's a good engage. So, yeah, I don't know. Does he fit, like, what the final question I'm going to leave this first impressions on, does he fit into, let's say, the meta at all? Not right now-ish. Like, do I think Urgot will do well versus Fiora? Honestly, I don't think, I don't think many things could beat Fiora in a 1v1, and I don't think Urgot is going to. And again, I'm talking about really good players here. So will a really good Fiora beat a really good Urgot? On first impressions, I don't think so. I think a Fiora would win, is that what I'm saying? Because I think a lot of Urgot now is going to be very dependent on abilities. So I think Fiora will be able to survive it. Kled, I think, will be pretty good versus Urgot as well, because he won't be able to execute him easily. But yeah, I think he'll be good versus certain things. Like, I think in this matchup, I know it's a bot, but, like, I think Urgot will do well against Renekton. Unless, like, Urgot just gets overpowered in the early game, which I don't really see happening. Because that's insane. The E is a little bit, like... That's not great. But I guess, again, not everything on a champion can be great. Otherwise, that turns into OP. So that makes sense. So anyway, that's going to be it. This is my first impressions. Overall, just to kind of summarize, I like his update. It's a good update. It's a lot better than, obviously, old Urgot. You know, old Urgot basically is non-existent. It's nice to have a new design to him, new abilities. You know, practically, we've got all new abilities. You don't have the E lock-on or the E poison into the Q lock-on stuff. You don't have that. But what I would say, it's kind of reminiscent, right? You've got locking on abilities that then helps with your new W. Like, I think again, whenever a new champion gets updated or whatever, go onto the subreddit of that champion and look at the One Trick Pony's reaction. I actually went on there when the reveal page came out, and they actually seemed quite happy. So that, to me, will be like, okay, if the one tricks that love Urgot even when he's terrible are happy, then surely this is going to be a decent rework. There has been some champions that have been reworked that the one tricks are literally crying and saying they're going to quit, which isn't great. But it's why I never put myself to one champion. But the one tricks of Urgot, from what I've seen, have been kind of happy, because this, to me, is just an upgrade. This is just 100% an upgrade. You're giving a tankish bruiser an execution at 25% health. Now, again, I don't want to make that seem that it's overpowered, because this, I think, will be very easy to counter. In a 5v5 grouping situation, I don't think Urgot's pretty much ever going to get this off. Like, it's going to be rare for an Urgot to get that off, because any type of CC, I believe, does stop it. Or if Urgot dies, and you have to remember, he's standing still while he's chaining somebody in, which makes him vulnerable, let's say, like a Malzahar. So anyway, that's going to be it. If you did like it, throw a like on the video. Share all the stuff in the comments, what you think as well. I'll be very interested to know. But yeah, like, subscribe. See you guys next time. See you.